Now, one more part which I want to discuss with you all. I have this slide. Will stop sharing. Yeah. So, somebody's left chair and video camera is on. All right. So, next thing I wanted to tell you about, all of us are from Maharashtra Medical Council, and all of us must be aware about the issues which were created in the elections of this Maharashtra Medical Council. I'm just going to brief you a little bit more about this. On first evening, I received information that there was a case in Supreme Court which came up for hearing at about 4:30 in the evening, when the petitioner had challenged the Bombay High Court order which had rejected the petitioner's application to discontinue the election because the returning officer of the election was not qualified as required by the statutes. The statute requires that the returning officer should be of the undersecretary category, but the registrar of dental council was given this additional charge, and then she was appointed as a returning officer. So this was challenged in Bombay High Court somewhere in the month of March, maybe 15th or 16th March. And on 20th of March, Bombay High Court had rejected the petition, saying that it is too late for intervening in the process as the elections were held on 3rd of April. So the petitioner went into appeal in Supreme Court and he filed a case in on 27th of March, which duly came up for hearing on 1st of April. And I got the information from my contacts in Supreme Court that the matter is going to be heard early morning on 2nd, that is the day before the election. So I was online in the Supreme Court in that court, and I heard the matter. The judges came at 10:45, and immediately the case was taken up as the first case on the board, and the case was discussed, and the judges told them categorically that the returning officer is not of the required qualification. So what was the answer given by the advocate of the government of Maharashtra was that the returning officer is drawing same salary scale as of the undersecretary. So the judge asked him whether anybody who has got same pay scale as a judge can call himself as a judge. And the answer is clear, no. Therefore, there is a violation of the law, and therefore the returning officer is not qualified. And you have to stay the elections, then you appoint a returning officer of required qualification and come back to us on 7th of April, that is Monday, that is day after tomorrow. However, the Maharashtra government, in its own wisdom, appointed a undersecretary level person as returning officer after the order of the court was available on the board at 6 o'clock. And then we got notice that they are going to appoint such a person. I have personally written the email to the returning officer saying that if you appoint such a person overnight and take the election forward, it is violative of the order of the court and it may amount to contempt of court, because the court had also said that there are several other issues in the case which deserve to be heard, but the government advocate has not had adequate time, which is evening 4:30 of 1st of April to morning 10:30 of the 2nd of April. So I am giving him time. You come back with reply to all the issues raised in the petition, and then we will discuss what is to be done, how far you have come in the election, what is required to be done after that, so that all the election procedure which has started, we can decide how to continue. We are aware that the elections are being held after a long time, and therefore we do not propose to intervene in it. However, after knowing what is the exact status, then we will decide what is to be done. Till that time, the election are stayed. Instead of that, the government of Maharashtra started election process on 3rd of April at 8 o'clock, and the election continued till 10:30, or the voting continued till 10:30. and the petitioner's advocate went to court again at 10:30 on 3rd of April and informed the court that in spite of your order, the government has appointed a new election returning officer of undersecretary level and they are continuing the election and the voting is being conducted. So the court told them that this is contempt of court. You stop the elections just now and then you come back on 7th. The government leader said that let us continue the elections and will not declare the results. The court said nothing doing. The advocate of the government said that we are conducting elections at 188 booths. Please allow us to continue. The judge said nothing doing. The government leader said that we will have to communicate to all of them. It will be very difficult. The judge said nothing doing. Discontinue the elections now and then come back on 7th. This is my order. And what you are doing is amounting to contempt of court. So at that time, the hearing was stopped. After that, around 12:30, all the election booths were closed and the election was discontinued. This was unfortunate incident for the first time in the history of Maharashtra Medical Council. But the elections have been stopped on one point of not following law by the Maharashtra state government and the appointment of returning officer. So now what Medical Legal Society of India is doing in this is we are asking them to move the election process to online process because of following reasons. One is doctors have to travel for 3 hours or 2 hours from their place to the district place where the voting is conducted. This voting is being conducted as per current law, which says that district collectors will conduct voting at headquarters, district headquarters. However, this law is of 1967 and today we are in 2025. So we have said that all elections of various medical societies like Indian Society of Anesthesiologists, Indian Academy of Pediatrics, Federation of Officers of Gynecology of India, Indian Society of Critical Care Medicine, etc. Several associations are conducting elections online and we are talking about Digital India and we are talking about National Digital Health Mission. Therefore, the election should be conducted in online manner. That is what we have filed an intervention application in Supreme Court of India yesterday. And today we have got the application approved by the registry so that it will be coming up for hearing on 7th of April. In addition to that, we are conducting a survey of what happened during the election, how many people got their voters ID or found their name in the voters list. So it is said that 70,000 voters are not in the list out of 2 lakh voters. So 1/3, 33% voters are not finding their names in the list. I have certain reservations about it because the initial 30,000 voters who will be now in their 80s and 90s may not be there or may not be practicing or they might not have renewed their registration. So it is estimated that 30,000 of these 70,000 are no more into practice. But still there will be 30 to 35,000 voters who are there practicing or want to practice or want to continue the MMC registration, but they are not in the list. So it will be something like, 25,000 out of 1,50,000, something like that, because we have only 1,25,000 names in the electoral vote. So we are creating a statistics because finally you are all now students of law. You should understand that any such activity which amounts to public interest litigation in the court has to be on the what you can say basis on some statistics. I cannot just say that I feel so and public interest will be protected. I will have to prove that how the public interest will be protected. So we are asking people whether they want online voting or physical voting, whether they want the election at district place or taluka place or town, whether they want the elections in online mode or physical mode, and if there are any other suggestions, what is the distance that they have to travel as of today's election process, how much time it takes to travel to the election booth and vote, because finally doctors are supposed to do medical practice and treat patients and not spend their time on traveling 3 hours one way and coming back. I knew one of my friends who came from Baramati, which is about 100 kilometers away. It takes 3 hours time. I knew another friend, Dr. Anil Joshi, who was our faculty member in the first or second session, who traveled from Pandharpur to Solapur about hours travel time, and he has to leave his practice and go. So these are the things which are now raising on behalf of Medical Legal Society of India in Supreme Court on 7th. I'll be sharing a link of this hearing on these groups, and all of you are requested to join Supreme Court and see what type of hearing goes on in the Supreme Court. So you get first-hand experience of a problem of all of us which are seeing or facing. So thank you very much for your patient listening. And now I request Dr. Khatun to proceed with the photograph for the day. Thank you.